Hi! Welcome to a kind of a state of myself, state of my channel kind of video sort of thing. Uh, as you may know, I'm Frank. How's it going? And, well, I just kind of just want to talk about things that are just like on my mind, both in my life and just like things and what I want to do. And one of the things that, gets me really thinking about this, aside from just the general self-criticalness that I have talked about time before, is that I'm gonna be turning 22 soon. Yes, I'm gonna be 22 years old on April 12th. Neat fact, I am a year younger than Pokemon, as it was released in March of 1996 in Japan. I was born in April 1997, so yeah, that's fun. So yeah, and basically it's just like I'm just thinking about like my progress with my goals and stuff like that, and a lot of it has to deal with me just not feeling like I have really achieved much, but at the same time I always have to keep telling myself that I can't be like just too harsh on myself, because that's what gets me stuck in the end, because I end up building up the idea of like what I can or can't do, especially when I'm trying to like write a manga, story projects. Just I even have like a little sticky note here, like a little design doc thing I have an idea for. Uh, and another sticky note saying make things for myself first on my monitor. I got two of them right there, and it's just like it's just really hard to avoid the situation where I just build up in my head as I'm doing things that I can't do it, I'm not skilled enough, I don't know the skills enough, I haven't practiced enough, and things like that. Where to the point where it's just I had before I even gotten close to even finishing a rough draft of anything, I just have already decided in my head that I just can't do it. Like no matter how hard I try, I just can't do it. And that's something that my overly self-criticalness kind of comes in a problem with. I just already build up in my head that no, I can't do this, like don't even bother, sort of thing. That's exactly how you get better at stuff, is to constantly try things. And I'm even if now I'm aware of it, now I'm being critical against myself for not trying things more. So it's just like I can't give myself a break at all, and it's just like it just keeps being like an endless cycle of just not liking myself. And it's just something I really need to break from. But one of the few things that did make me very happy to recently finish was my Persona 5 Let's Play live stream thing, which I wanted to do before the second anniversary for Persona 5 came around. I think it was, if I remember correctly, was it the 4th of April when it was released? I forget. Yeah, and Persona 5 meant a lot to me. It was one of the first Persona games I was able to buy with my own money that I have earned on my own. That wasn't from Christmas money or birthday money or anything like that, which was like Persona 3 and 4 beforehand. And it was like and I got the Take Your Heart edition, and I was still working at the time at the old sandwich place I used to work at before I was laid off. And it's just I guess that's another thing I want to like talk about. This is kind of like a bit of a stream of consciousness. I think that's what's called. Just me, just kind of rambling for a video. One of the other things is that I've been also unemployed for well over a year now. I was laid off around the beginning of last year, 2018. Like I worked for most of 2017. I started the job in February, like mid to late February. So I was like almost getting a year done at the job, and I was really happy with that. There was definitely problems with the job, but it was a goal of mine to at least have a job for a year. Like that was like kind of like a little quiet goal I had it back in my head, and I just barely missed it. But I am very happy that I was able to work that long, because my very first job I was only there for like 2.5 weeks before I just quit, because I just couldn't I was not ready. Like I'm autistic, and certain things just bother me. And the atmosphere of that place was a grocery store, like a slightly fancier one, but it was still, it was your basic grocery store that was more fancier. Kind of. It's not really that fancy, really. But it had a high standard of what it expected from the employees in terms of like dress code, how you look, how you exactly moved and talk, that sort of fancy. Like, it was arguably its quality is just only a little bit better in some places and not so much in other places. But it was that kind of place where it was just, I was not ready for it. It was my first job. I was hired right at the tail end of my high school career. Senior year, I was like, pretty much ever since like late middle school, I was trying to find a part-time job, and I applied to places all around, everywhere, and that was like the first interview I had in like 6 to 7 months. No, well over a year at that point, because the last time I was interviewed before that was like in junior year, and that was like the first time I had an interview in so long. And I was offered the job on the spot. I knew I wasn't going to like the place because I really didn't like the atmosphere. I always felt kind of like suffocated just by going there anyway, like with my parents when I was younger. So it's like, it was already a place I did not feel good in, but I was just so ecstatic on just having a job. Like, it's like, yes, it's the end of the horribleness of school and job right out of there. Literally 2 days after I graduated, boom, first day of work. I could not explain how just like ecstatic I felt. Like, I was trying to find a job for almost 5 years, trying to like prove to myself that I can do stuff, and I got it. And man, was that such a crash of a feeling afterwards. Like the first week I was still kind of riding the high of getting the job, but after the first week and going on to the second week, everything just really settled in and started to choke on me. And it's just like, and, one thing I really hate about myself, but I have to realize it's not something I could just change. I wish I could. I wish I could just like take that part of myself and just delete. But like, I'm very emotionally driven, as you can probably tell so far, even from this video. It's just like, I am very emotionally driven, and my emotions are very sensitive. Like, it's not something I can control. It's purely my reaction to things. I wish I was more numb to things. I wish I wasn't numb to other things, but I wish I was more numb to like being upset, uncomfortable, and stuff like that. I wish I wasn't as weird. And because of that, it started to really get on me to the point where it's like, the best way I explained it to my parents was, back when I was in elementary school, due to my autism, I would have a lot of temper tantrums all the time. And I kind of felt some of that feeling going into middle school, but it was completely gone by the second half of that and all throughout high school. There was still points where I still got really upset and stuff like that. But in terms of like just the pure uncomfortableness I first experienced from elementary school, that exact same feeling, just as intense, just as horrible it was, came back to me by the start of the second week at that job. And it was horrible. Like, I could not explain to you about a lot of my feelings about that job. I'm still very mixed on it, personally, even to this day. But, like, I gave it the rest of the week. I wanted to at least work for a month. Because they even said, like, oh, we'll, like, try everyone out for a month and stuff like that. I think how it was. And I wanted to at least get through that month. But halfway through the second week, I just could not do it. I had to leave. I just had to leave. My parents weren't particularly happy about that because they're kind of old school. Like my mom and dad are like past their mid 40s. My dad's in his late 50s, and it's just to give you an idea of the kind of mentalities they have. And they're like, oh, work is not meant to be fun or something like that. It's like, I wasn't even looking for a fun job. I was just looking for a job I just didn't feel horrible at. And it was just something just so like they say they get how I feel, but they really, even to this day, they still don't. Like, they've stopped giving me crap for it, and they starting to come to an understanding of why I can't hold some jobs compared to others. And but all throughout my life, they're always like, "Oh no, you have to be like a normal adult and stuff like that." And even though like other people in my family also have autism, it's just like they just don't get it because they just deal with the horribleness. And I, like, if anything, like I never want to be like them in a, especially in a career sense, because they just accept the idea that, oh, jobs are just horrible and make you miserable, and that's it, and that's, you can't complain about it, you can't want more than that. And it's just like, yeah, work is always going to be work. Even if I like work on things like manga or video games for a living, like there's still going to be days where you just hate your job. That's a fact. That's never going to change, but I don't want that to be every day. You know, I want to be able to at least be satisfied with my work and not feel like I'm gonna throw a temper tantrum due to how upset I got. Like, and I'm not a normal person. I can't just deal with normal things. It sounds incredibly childish, in a lot of ways it is. Like, I consider myself kind of childish in that way. But it's not just something I could just force myself to grow up with. And it's just like, I'm probably more infuriated with myself than my parents were with me back then. But still, it was just that kind of thing where it's like I felt like even after I left the job, I just felt horrible. Like, I just could not get the feeling of just feeling like such a failure. Honestly, I felt like I just felt like all the like mean stuff that people used to say to me and what people say about people who with autism online were kind of becoming true. And like, it's just like something that still like is a seething feeling in my soul of just like, it's just grinding at it, burning. And it's just like, I don't want that to be true. Like, but at the same time, I have to know my limitations, and it's infuriating. Like, I know what I can't or can't do, but I don't know how much of it should I like use it as a reason why I can't do it and shouldn't attempt it again, or am I just making an excuse? Where does me being able to improve as a person start and end compared to where my disabilities start and end? Like, where does that begin and end? Like, it's not like, you know, a broken leg. Like, that's like the horrible thing about a lot about mental disabilities and neurological ones, autism specifically being neurological. It's like with a broken leg, it's very clear what you can't or can't do, and it's very clear. It's like, you know, you can't walk normally, you need crutches, you need ramps and stuff like that. Like, it's very clear on what you need. And if you're not entirely sure what comes up, as soon as it comes around, it's like, oh, I need this and stuff like that. You know, it's a much more practical disability, if that makes sense. But with autism, it's just like, how much is it me or not me? How much is it my faults or something I shouldn't blame myself for because of my disability? It's something that I struggle with, even especially when trying to keep up motivation. Like, is it just me being lazy? Am I just being too picky? Am I just being dumb? Or is it because my autism is that much of a roadblock that I have to find more ways around it? Like, you know, I want to get around it. That's the goal. But how feasible is that? What do I need to do? It's not just, oh, I need this and that as soon as I see where the problem lies. Like I said, it's not like a broken leg where you can just like, oh, this is a simple solution, or this is what a person needs to get to place to place. You know, it's not as simple as that, and it's really annoying. It's really frustrating because a lot of people just don't get it because it is so vague, and even then, like, people with autism have different needs. Like, the symptoms vary quite a bit. Like, some people with autism, like some members of my family who have it, they're not as emotionally sensitive as I am, which is partially where the idea of like, oh, you should just get over it comes from my family, because, you know, oh, they don't need to do it. They don't need to feel bad about it. They can get over it. But I can't. So even amongst the same blood family who has the same disabilities, don't have the same symptoms. And just to give you an idea how vague and convoluted it gets, like, it's like built for misunderstandings and just not understanding anything. And it's incredibly frustrating. But yeah, it's just like, I really want to just get over these things, but I know it can't just be as simple as that, and or at least I don't think it is as simple as that, because trust me, I tried. Like, and one of the main things that really gets me thinking about a lot of this and like kind of rethinking my life strategy, I guess you can kind of say, is I wanted to move out by the time I was like 23, 24, but I won't, unless I make a lot of money really quickly. That's not gonna happen until like I'm 25 or something, and it's just maybe like late 24, but yeah, definitely like not within like 3 years. And you know, I want to live on my own, but it's just like some things just get like really kind of scary to me, like, because, you know, once the seed of doubt's put in there, it spreads like wildfire, like poison ivy, I guess is a better way to explain it. It's like and I start to think, like, is that even possible for me? Like, I get everything I need to do, like, I understand it, but can I do it? Can I reasonably do it on my own is the thing. Because the, like, main solace I get with my autism, specifically how it affects me, is that I'm generally considered high functioning. So that means that's supposed to that I can survive on my own. Like, yeah, I'll still need help in some areas, but in general, I can just, you know, survive. But with the lack of ability to find jobs, to even get interviews, like, I have not been interviewed since my job back at that sandwich shop. Like, I just, like, that was like literally my last interview, and that was like over 2 years ago now. And haven't been able to, because I wasn't just trying to find a job after I got laid off. I was already planning on leaving anyway from the place, and I wanted to, like, you know, move on, but I wanted to at least finish out the year of trying to find some places. I would only have left like immediately if I was immediately, you know, if I had a job offer and stuff like that. And I was already talking to the managers and stuff like that. That was already finding another place to potentially work, which is probably the reason why they laid me off when they did. So yeah, and also to mention, it was roughly the same, like around 8 to 9 months between the initial grocery shop job and the job at the sandwich shop that I used to work at. I'm just not mentioning names because, like, privacy and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just, it wasn't the perfect job, but it was something that I could at least work at, and I thought I at least did a decent job. not until towards the end, but that's a whole other thing I really don't want to get into. But it does definitely have to deal with a lot with my personal issues. I'm just gonna sum it up as, because again, I'm not sure that's like my autism or just me, you know? And yeah, and when it comes to this channel, like, I'm not sure what to do with it. Like, I know you need a channel to be really focused on something. Like, if you don't have it focused on something, your audience can't grow as well and stuff like that. But I also want to do a lot of things, and I'm not very good at keeping a lot of different social medias, especially that there's no, like, hub of notifications. Or, like, there might be for, like, a plugin or something like that with Google Chrome or some other browser. But I really don't want to mess with that stuff, and I don't want to rely on that. And even then, like, my main goal isn't YouTube. It's a way to build up an audience so that people... So for other stuff that I do, like, I eventually do want to make a game once in my life, and I also want to write a lot of stories in manga form and stuff like that. So I want people to actually look at that stuff. So I'm trying to find a balance in my mind and time, because a lot of it takes a lot of time. Like, making a game that's like a multi-year job right there. Even if you're just like, even if I'm theoretically just a director with a design doc and, you know, directing things, like, that's still like a 2-year job full time. Like, that isn't an easy job. Like, not in the least bit. Making a manga, that's also a full-time job by yourself. Running a YouTube channel, that's also a full-time job. So it's just, I also get kind of like confused on what I should do. What should I focus on? What should I do things? Like, should I just purely go with my whims? Because that's how I get the most progress done. But at the same time, I still don't finish anything. Yeah, progress is made. Like there's a series that I was tentatively calling Elemancer that I've been storyboarding quite a bit, and I got like over 30 pages storyboarded, and I got that done within like a week, and I was really happy with that. But then, like, I lost motivation with it because I was being more self-critical of myself, because I was happy with what I was doing. I naturally had to punch myself and say, no, you can't be happy with this. You need to, you know, be more critical. You're not going to do a good job. You're not going to do it right and stuff like that. And then I just, instead of having fun with it like I was, yeah, like, looking back on it, they weren't the best storyboards. There was a lot of things I wanted to change. But now that I have that in my mind, I want to either start over, because I know I'm going to change a lot of things and I don't want to continue how I started, or two, just abandon it completely. And it's just like, I hate it. I hate it a lot. I hate a lot of things. And it's just, and it takes a long time for me to get motivated again. So I just end up like loafing around, just not even enjoying the games I play. Like, I just, after like Persona 5, it's just like there's always like this thing in the back of my mind. It's like, oh, I should start streaming another game, but I don't want to stream any other games right now. Maybe because, like, I want to sound knowing what sounding like I know what I'm doing. And even with Persona 5, like, I didn't like how I kind of fapped about a bit, just not sure what to do, because I didn't know everything about the game. It was only my second finished playthrough. I tried to start a second playthrough multiple times, but barely ever got through Madarame's palace. But in general, it's just like, it's just hard, because, like, since I've established that I can stream games, and, like, game streams are the most successful thing on my channel, it's like, oh, I need to do more game streams, but I'm just, It's just hard to explain. It's just playing video games. It's not that hard. At least what I tell myself. But no, you have to be entertaining. You need to make sure your stream is of good quality. You need to make sure your sounds is balanced. You need to make sure that it's exciting or stuff like that. It's just... I overthink things a lot. Like, a lot. And it's really, really bad. I hate it. I hate it a lot. And now I'm just getting into, like, very small rambles. I kind of said everything I wanted to say as of right now. But yeah, like, when it comes to my channel, like, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I still have video ideas. Like, I still have ideas. In fact, right behind the webcam, I actually have some written out stuff that I want to do. And things like that. I might be doing a commission soon on Twitter. Might be. It depends on when person's coming back to me, which is fun and exciting for me because that's my first I'm trying to think, like, because I do have like a not safe for work account that I make completely separate from all of this, and I have done a few commissions with that. But I just want to keep that, like, personally very separate. So you're probably not going to hear me talk much about it, aside from the fact that I have been commissioned before. But due to weird stuff with PayPal and, like, technically needing a real identity because since commissions are technically a business practice and you need to keep track of taxes and stuff like that, it's weird stuff with my PayPal. I don't want to keep, like, again, I want to keep it very separate. I don't want to, like, and stuff like that, so I haven't been able to do any commissions with that in a while. But this will be probably my first set of commissions on my main persona account thing, my main mask, if you will, and stuff. And it's just like, interesting. Like, that just kind of hitting me. Like, this may be the first set of commissions I might do. But anyway, this video is like 27 minutes long, and I'm probably just gonna upload it straight to YouTube. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Anyway, I talked enough. That's just kind of what had been on my mind. Kind of dumped it out. There's also other things, more personal things. But yeah, this is mainly stuff like involving my life and career potentially, and it's just anyway. Bye.